Mhm. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the afternoon sessions of online events with Graphic Days. Graphic Days is a cultural project and a visual design festival based in Turin, Italy, and is operating since 2016. Since its first edition, Graphic Days has hosted a different guest country in an exhibition named Eyes On, with the aim of presenting the best of design of a selected country. On occasion of Graphic Days Eyes on the Netherlands, we are presenting a calendar of digital online events dedicated to the Dutch visual communication and the contamination between the European trends and influences in this sector. The Eyes on the Netherlands project was born in collaboration with Graphic Matters, a design festival based in Breda, and the Embassy and the Consulates of the Netherlands in Italy. Today's online event is moderated by Nikki Gonnissen. She has co-founded Studio Thonik together with Thomas Widdershoven back in 1993. Studio Thonik is an Amsterdam-based collective of designers. Aside from Thonik, Nikki has been the international president of Allianz Graphique International from 2015 till 2018. Allianz Graphique International is a platform that unites the world's leading graphic designers. During the roundtable today, Nikki Gonnissen will propose to designers Thomas Widdershoven, Pepijn Zurburg, and Yuri Veerman to answer the question, how can a graphic designers give a meaningful contribution to a society in transformation through the projects that they have developed in the last years? Our first guest is Yuri Veerman, artist, designer, and performer that will tell us the stories about an increasingly complex world. The next guest is Pepijn Zurburg, designer and art director. He's a co-founder of the design agency The Design Politique, as well as What Design Can Do, a platform that believes in the power of design and creativity to transform society. Our last guest for today is Thomas Widdershoven, a co-founder of Thonik, graphic designer, as well as a creative mind behind the building that houses Studio's new headquarters. So before switching to Amsterdam, we are happy to share the exhibition that is currently on show here in Turin and that presents the architectural studio of Thonik. Feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will have an opportunity to share them later with our guests.
Hello, Graphic Days. Hello, Torino. We're here in Amsterdam in our new studio, and I want to say hi to Yuri Veerman and Thomas Widdershoven, and Pepijn Zurburg, and our dog, by the way. Good? Do you see him?
Yeah, and now the audience goes,
Yes,
oh.
okay. Small studio tour. Welcome, Yuri. We're going to start with you today. First of all, maybe it's good to elaborate a little bit more on today's theme, which is design for change. I think we have lived too long with overconsumption, inequalities on many levels, and we're only thinking in growth. And of course, we exhausted our planet's resources completely. And I hope today we will find a sort of an answer, or we start a discussion on these societal issues. And I hope we can maybe you can tell and share your story. What I really like about your work is that you address those societal issues by almost unveiling the systems behind it. Well, I hope you can share the story of the Prince of Oranje from the Netherlands. Please take the mic.
Thank you, Nikki. Okay, I will share my screen and we will see if the magic happens. I'll share my entire screen, share, keynote, and play. Do you all see a logo? Yes. Okay. Well, my name is Yuri Veerman, and today I will talk about one project which is called Who Owns the City? And like Nikki said, it is indeed a story about a prince. It all starts with this very simple website, which is called Van wie is de stad.amsterdam? Who owns the city.amsterdam? It was made in 2018, just before the municipal elections, together with a fellow designer. And as a response actually to the problem of a city being too popular. And when you live in a city that is very popular, that's very nice, because it means a lot of nice stuff is happening there. But it also means you're dealing with mass tourism, skyrocketing housing prices. So it's actually a popularity backlash. To give you an example of what skyrocketing housing prices mean, just 25 years ago, the average house costs a little under 100,000 euros, and now you pay more than 500,000. For some people, this is a crisis. For other people, this is a business. And one of the people that sees this as a business is a Dutch prince. He's a full-blood nephew of our king, King Willem-Alexander. And I made this poster in response to his business. The poster says, now in Amsterdam, Bernard of Orange, he's a real Van Oranje, the prince with 349 houses, and then it says, not a fairy tale, because he actually owns 349 houses in Amsterdam alone. The idea behind the website was that people would share the posters online, maybe they would download it and print it, put it behind their window. Not a lot of people do this, but we thought, okay, let's give it a shot and see if people pick up this poster. To our surprise, it was picked up by professional wildplakkers, people who put up posters for a living. And actually, this was great to me, to see that you address an issue and you make something, and other Amsterdammers see this too, and they adopt the poster, they send it to the printers, and they decorate the entire city with it. And it really felt magical for me to cycle through my own city, and it really felt as if the city was speaking. Something is going on in the city, and now finally, instead of only cycling around and seeing the standard messages, which is advertising or municipal information, you see an urgent message, you see a dissident message. And it's important to stress for me that the amount of dissident messages in the city are very little. It's very hard to come across a dissident message. If you do come across one, it has the size of a small sticker or some graffiti. But now the entire city said something is wrong. Houses are for living, not for making profit. This is even a stock photo I found. And I think another important aspect to stress is that this prince actually lives in Amsterdam. So when he goes outside with his family, with his wife and his 2 kids, their kids see their father's face all over the city, like he's some crook that is wanted. I thought this was a very nice side effect. So far it's just a poster, but this changed when other parties started to interfere. They started tearing down the posters. They started putting pieces of posters over it, defacing the posters. And I love this. I thought, what a wonderful present are they giving me, to add this extra layer, a layer of protest on top of a protest poster. And I immediately knew that I had to take a few off to put them in my archive, and I actually did. And one of them is being exhibited right now in Museum de Fundatie, next to Thonik's work. the next gift I got was from Jack de Vries, this man, who is a political spin doctor, the former Secretary of State of Defense, and now works for the real estate agency of the Prince. When I was on holiday, I suddenly got a text message saying, "Yuri, in the name of the Prince, I want to talk to you, Jack de Vries."
No.
And Jack de Vries said, "Yuri, your posters are wrong. The facts are wrong. You have to take it off your website." And I thought, wow, I just made a poster. And the interesting thing is, it was old news. Other websites already mentioned this fact. Prince Bernhard has 349 houses. I was actually recycling old news in the form of a poster, and suddenly it was a big deal. I thought these text messages are a gift, so I have to collect them. I collected them all, sent them to a journalist who made a wonderful story out of it. And when you are an artist and you're battling against a prince and a former secretary of defense, it becomes like a David versus Goliath fight. So it made me look very good. And what I also liked is that from that point, it became an icon. So when on television they talked about the prince, they showed this poster. At RTL Boulevard, which is like a gossip show, they talked about the prince, they showed this poster. There was a New Year's quiz, they talked about the prince, they showed the poster. Even a gossip magazine story had a story about it. So at that point, I knew that this poster had reached another level. Even when two journalists wrote a book about Prince Bernhard, they opened chapter 1 with a very clear description about my poster. It made me very proud because also Amsterdam Museum put the posters in their collection. It's on show in Museum de Fundatie. So I knew now that this very simple medium, a poster, can be super powerful, because on the left you see a news article that says exactly the same as my poster says. It says Prince Bernhard has 349 houses, but this form made it so urgent that this prince, as soon as people hear his name, will now think about they will think about the poster. And I think it's wonderful that one simple poster can do this. And thank you for your attention.
Well, I agree completely. Thank you so much, Yuri.
You're welcome.
Super nice.
Yeah.
I think we will do the questions on your on this topic after the 3 presentations.
Super.
My next guest is Pepijn Zurburg, and we know each other for a long time. Pepijn, we were in Art Academy at the same year, or almost the same year. And since then, you did so many things. You founded together, like Xenia already said, the Design Politie together with Richard van der Laken. But you also founded the platform, or the collective Gorilla, in which you made the most wonderful commentaries, visual commentaries on the news and other political affairs. That was since 2006. And then since 2010, I think, What Design Can Do, which is an international, it grew out into an international platform in which you use design as a tool for change. And I hope you can tell the people from Torino a bit more about what Design Can Do and what you all did in the past 10 years.
Yes, well, thank you very much. I will, and I will also end with a little bit of Gorilla.
That's also
because everything is sort of mixed. Let me see. I will share my screen. So is this okay now? Yeah. So my name is Pepijn Zurburg. So if you're not from the Netherlands, then basically it's not impronounceable. This is me and my partner in crime, Richard, a very long time ago. We're both holding the concept pen. And this is us a couple of years ago when we were on the cover of a Dutch design magazine. So as Nikki already said, we do several things. So we do the design politie, the design police, which is a graphic design studio. We do branding, visual communication. And then we have What Design Can Do, which is a foundation, a non-profit foundation that sort of strives for the use of design and for designers to apply themselves for societal change. We have a studio in Amsterdam, and we also work with teams in Brazil and in Mexico City. First, a small introduction in the form of a film.
At What Design Can Do, we believe that design is more than making pretty things. Design and creativity have the power to transform societies. Money, the government, science, or the United Nations cannot solve the problems of the world alone. We need design and creativity to come up with alternative strategies, fresh ideas, and provocative thoughts. What Design Can Do organizes annual conferences in Amsterdam, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo. Speakers from all over the world share their visions. What Design Can Do is the perfect place for designers and creatives, as well as businesses, industry, NGOs, and governments to explore and start using design innovation. The What Design Can Do website, blog, and social media are engaged platforms for discussions on design and issues like climate change, social justice, health, and well-being. To actively search for fresh ideas and insights, What Design Can Do organizes global design challenges around the big issues of today. We ask the design community to come up with new answers to questions like the integration of refugees and climate change. We challenge creatives to upload their ideas to our website. An independent jury selects the best ideas to enter an acceleration program to develop them into viable products and business cases. In the near future, What Design Can Do plans a series of local challenges around energy and safety in metropoles on 5 continents, and a new series of conferences is being launched in Mexico City. To see how you can join our movement, visit whatdesigncando.com.
So, a very important for us is that we work for and with the creative communities, all around the world, but the creative community. And then, so then it was 2020, and then COVID came around, and we were kind of struggling because all of our events could not go through, and we were really questioning ourselves, what can we do to work or to help or to reach out to the creative community around the world. So then quickly we thought, well, we have a platform that we can use, and we dubbed it What Design Can Do in times of Corona. And it meant that basically our website and all of our social media channels, we put in service of this idea of the design community in times of Corona. So for almost a year, we blogged, we wrote, we reported on all the wonderful initiatives that designers all around the world did with this theme of COVID. I mean, in the very early stages of the Corona crisis, things like making your own mask or alternative masks or 3D printing of masks were still very relevant. African initiative on sort of pop-up hand sanitation stations. But we also did things like people that were people around the world that we knew to report from their part of the world. So for instance, this Brazilian architect Marco Brajovic, he left or he decided to hide out in the jungle with his family, and he made this wonderful report about it. And also what we did is that every week we, because we are graphic designers, we featured a topic which we called visual relief. So we asked graphic designers from around the world to contribute to this section. This is a piece or a couple of pieces by Max Kisman, a Dutch graphic artist. For some reason, this whole Corona crisis sort of appealed to graphic designers to make posters, to express themselves on the topic of what Corona did to the world and to their profession. Also this great initiative by an Italian studio, which is called Carosello Lab, if I pronounce it right. A series by Edo Rodriguez, the Cuban-American illustrator. And to conclude, we as Gorilla, as Nikki already mentioned in the introduction, also took part, and I made a small clip of the visuals that we did. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pepijn. Super nice to see those very recent gorillas.
Yeah.
From only 1 year. My next guest is Thomas. He's the toe of Thonik, and Thomas, you are my partner in life as well, already for 28 years. So I know this guy very well, and well, what did he do? He was a philosopher, or he studied philosophy. He's a graphic designer, and since he finished this building, I can say he's also an architect, and always seeking for the impossible. I think you can make things really happen. Thomas, can you tell us something about this building and why this is an alternative approach to city planning?
Yeah, let's see if I can share screen. First, that's more difficult than building. What happened? Is it on? No. Did I do it?
Het is er nog niet.
Nee.
Er staat wel een deeltje scherm.
Dus ik heb iets gedeeld, maar wat? Share screen. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there.
Thank the Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
Start.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a crazy story, and what we really want to tell about it, although it is crazy to build your own spot, it actually could mean something for the city as a whole. So basically, this is a building with a mission. For two reasons. One is, I think, if creatives develop their own building, then quality and diversity in the city will be bigger. There will be more of it. So, which is, I think, a good thing. And the other one is actually something else about how do you call it? Sustainability. So, if you have a building that has a sort of open structure that you can use it on any floor in any way. So, in this building, for instance, you can live or work on each floor. Then you have a building that can adapt through time to new times and be relevant in new times. And in that way, I think it really helps to be a sustainable building. So I think those two positions is what that's the mission of this building, to express this. So the quality and the diversity. So first of all, if the quality, of course, also comes from the architect. We developed it together with an architect, Arjen van Rijven from MMX Architects, and he brought in a sort of critical mind and an eye for detail that's really at the core of the quality of this building. But the extra quality also comes from the fact that the end user is developing this. So basically, it's not profit that is at the key essence of this development, but it is to make something special on a special spot. And in that way, the diversity becomes bigger, and in that way, the quality becomes bigger. So I'm a graphic designer. So then, of course, you get a building with stripes in black and white. The black and white stripes connect the facade and the balconies and the staircase. But had there been another person from the creative sector to develop its own building, it would be, of course, a totally different building, and you would get a totally different image. And in that way, I think diversity will be bigger in a city, and that is what we need, I think, to develop the city that way. Of course, we looked very much at the surroundings. We're on 3 sides. I can flip a little bit. We're on a big avenue. On 3 sides, we're free in this avenue. And across the street, there is a school in the style of Le Corbusier. And next to us is a building in concrete, very nice building by Bedeau Brouwer. So in a way, we felt that this was really a spot to make an icon. But if you make an icon, you want to make an icon that is for everybody. And that is why we started with big windows to connect inside and outside. But also on the ground floor and the first floor, we have catering, we have a sake bar, and we have a omakase restaurant. And on the top floor, where we're now sitting, there is an event space to have cultural events and debates. So in that sense, we want this icon to be, for everybody. This is actually connected because it actually connects a social agenda with a striking form, and that is what we do at Thonik every day. That's what we try to do at Thonik every day. So in that way, also this building reflects our design philosophy. So basically, it's the open structure that makes it a sustainable building. So sustainability is one key element, and the other one is diversity and quality that you bring to the city with a building like this. So this building advocates that people develop their own building, which is very difficult at present. So it's really an alternative way of city planning. But we prove that it's possible, and we prove that it helps to bring life to a certain area. That's it.
Already, okay.
That's what I had to say. I mean, I can go in. So here you see across, you see the Le Corbusier. You see Le Corbusier building that is a really beautiful building. It's a monument status building from the 50s, and you see, of course, the staircase that we use not too often, but yet we use it on summer days. It's and you see the place where we work. And this is the big windows in and out so that you can see what's happening inside. Is also part of the street, but also the street is part of when you were in night shot and more night shot. Oh, this is here, you can see the big city. And this is the omakase restaurant with a young Thai chef, Kit. The place is called Undercover. And this is the top level where we are now with the backdrop that you now know from us, and of course you can see across from the street the brick building with a reflection of our stripes in its windows. So staircase, nice window, nice place. It's it. I don't have anything to add.
Now, okay, so these projects all showed you some examples on how each of us is working on bringing change in existing systems. I think, Yuri, it's so nice to see how you transform huge social problems into something really humoristic, and how people from the city adapt it and bring it further and further. So it's a very small example, but it has a huge impact.
It's a bigger virus than Corona.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it is.
Pepijn, what I really think is striking, how I saw you building this platform, how you reached out to other countries and other cultures to really dive into their social and environmental problems and bring that back to connect also all those cities and worlds together and try to find people with examples how they work on also big and small on their own local problems. And Thomas, yeah, of course, this is our dream came true with this building, and hopefully this is maybe the first event we organize in this space, because we really hope to bring in cultural exchange and also talk about these things. Okay, the first question, do we have a question to one another? What are we going to talk about? I think maybe I can bring in one sort of quote. Our present economic system is based on competition, and we all talk about alternative systems for the housing problem, also here diversity in the city. What kind of values are needed? What do we need to really, I mean, we address all these topics and we slowly change it, but what kind of mentality is needed to reach a real large public and come even to politics somehow? Or do we need to address also the political system? How, maybe, is this a difficult question, or what
Yeah,
kind
you had
of...
a few examples of that. That was so clear.
What kind of, whoa. No, it's just what kind of values do we need? Like maybe, well, for instance, I feel that by traveling, like you do, Pepijn, in the world, I really got to know a lot of people and a lot of cultures. And that enriched my life so much that it was, for me, in a way, able to look to other people's problems and understand my own, etc. So in that sense, I think that cultural exchange and having a lot of diversity,
So an open mind also,
and an open mind is helping change in the world. But are there more values or things we need to change things?
If I can comment on that, I think, of course, a lot of these values, when it comes to housing, are already there. There are a lot of shared spaces. There are a lot of social initiatives. I think also when you look at the squatting movement, taking places, houses that are not being used, turning them into something new, a cinema, a library. I think that's the value of sharing. That's the value of being open. These values are already here, but they're under a lot of pressure. First, squatting is illegal. Bam. Well, what do you do with your values then? Then housing prices go up and up and up. So you immediately get into this competition. Fuck! If I don't buy a house now, I'm too late. If you're so other people in the city immediately become your competitors. So I think we already know what the values are, but they're under pressure, and that's why I think it's important to show these structures that put these values under pressure.
So can we name a few? Like you said, collaboration, engagement, passion instead of profit.
And also responsibility, I think.
Yes.
Because I don't believe that it's only the task of designers to, let's say, to save the world. I think everybody has to do that in their own right. I mean, if you're a farmer or if you build houses or whatever you do, everybody has the obligation to look at their immediate surroundings or the things that you can touch or change and, let's say, do no evil, try to make things better. And and also we thought when we started with What Design Can Do, if you look around you, almost anywhere in the world, everything is designed. And yet, whenever there is a problem or a big crisis, people do not look to design primarily or in the first instance. And we always think that it's very weird because, design is ultimately the only tool that we have. You can raise money to design something, or you can install some policy, or politicians can.
Mm-hmm. But then with design, you don't mean only giving shape. Eh? Design
No.
is also design an idea or an alternative or a.
I think so. Yeah. Of course, you have to. Everything can be designed, and I also think that there should be some sort of limitations to what that is, because not everything is designed. Some things are just there organically, and design does mean that you sort of intervene and move things in a slightly different direction to create something, to make something change.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that responsibility.
Responsibility, that's clear. Yeah. But then again, like you said, Yuri, sorry, Thomas, I go to Yuri again. It's sometimes quite hard when those systems are there to all the time take your responsibility, because you, like you said, you also want this house, and then the prices go up and you need to be quick, and then, how hard is it to keep on the right track all the time? How do you do that, Thomas? Is that something or is that a strange question?
I don't know. I just wanted to add one more thing to
Okay.
all the other things, which was
That's
initiative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because-
that's an answer.
Because
to my
that's
question.
what I find inspiring to hear also,
Mm-hmm.
that there are initiatives, and then you strike a chord that resonates so big. So then obviously you did something both as a designer, but also in the antenna of what is now that the people are really upset about, and you give them the tool to express it, because they were looking for it, obviously, and they didn't even know that they were looking for this tool, because it just came to them free of charge. But they immediately felt it was a tool to express what they were feeling and thinking, and then it becomes huge. And also what I found the initiative of having what design can do as a conference, coming from two designers, not people who are used to having conferences or are curators or are writers on design. No, it was just a small design group that felt that they had to take an initiative on a different level. And because I'm not totally sure that everything is designed. So like policies, for instance, of course, they're also designed and well thought out, you hope.
You hope. You
But
wish.
it is the initiative part, I think, and a bit of looking for a form that really sets designers apart. That you don't sit and do nothing, but you have the feeling that you have to act. That's why you became a designer. Somehow that you change something from one thing into the other. But now you also have a feeling that movement of change or initiative should be guided towards societal issues, and that you reframe what you do also in a way, because that's also what we do. We also reframe what we do here as a societal impact. But that's also how we got the plot of land, because we put it as a policy issue to the government. We didn't say we want a plot of land to build, but we said you have to give plots of land to end users, and the city will be better. And so. It is connected. So obviously what we're doing, because in a way, if we say, design is designed for change, it's quite a big thing. It sounds maybe a little bit too big, and yet if I see the examples, I think yes, but it is.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be shy in taking that position, because we do take initiatives and we do have societal issues in our mind. And we want to bring something forward, and change is design anyway.
Well, I think design is about change, because we're always thinking in transitions. But the last 10 years, we've all seen it growing. That we are more aware of those societal problems, and that the more people are working on it, the more initiatives are taking place, the better it is, I guess, for our world. And even the younger generation, I think the young generation feels it so deeply. So yeah. But what can design do? I mean, that's of course.
Well, design can definitely not do it alone. That's for sure. But
so collaboration is of course a very important thing.
Yeah, and I mean, design is not only being used for positive change. I mean, there's open architecture and there's repressive architecture. There are positive messages and there are negative messages. What I liked so much about seeing my poster on the street is that it really stood out next to all the other messages that are not really trying to change anything. They're just trying to
sell something,
which is not bad, but which is also the standard. And I like the fact that I could break through the standard with my design through the other designs. Yeah. So
can I ask one thing? Did you ever got into contact with the prince in the end?
No, it was always through his spokesperson.
Okay.
Yeah. I did get a phone call from his 11-year-old son telling me, stop spreading posters of my father. It's not true. That was one of the most awkward phone calls I ever had.
Wow.
Yeah. It really hurt them.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the guy. I'm sorry.
And so if we now also talk about, you said, you showed us what you did during the pandemic, and we all tried to come up with solutions during the pandemic. And we all have to think more locally, I think, now, because it's difficult to travel. Travel is also, of course, not a very good thing to do now because of all the CO2 today. What is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do we stay connected in the world?
Like this.
Oops. Yeah. Do you think,
in the building.
And the complexity of the world. How do you just keep on addressing all those?
Well, I think what the Corona crisis also taught me is that it's also good to not be connected all the time. This is also this can make people go crazy if you think you have to be up to date all the time, see people all the time, check things all the time. So it's also nice that a lot of these wires are being cut through, and
Sorry.
and
Yeah.
and so yeah, so then you have to decide which connections are the most important. But next to that, of course, the way you connect is also very important. We're now connecting through this technology, and we would all feel very different if we would stand on a stage.
Yeah,
it would be a totally different experience. So I think it has also taught us, okay, wonderful, this technology, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Yeah.
We have to round it up, it says here.
Well,
5 minutes ago.
Maybe you can give a last quote, or somebody else can say something to round it up, because it's.
Or the dog.
The dog is sleeping.
Yeah.
I also think that it's important that we. Yeah. How do you say that? I'm sorry. Thinking about all these things, it's also important to show some empathy for the other. I have the feeling that we are also sort of like, it's so we want to achieve everything, and if we want to do a real collaboration and a real dialogue and listen to one another, it comes so much further in the world somehow. Because, of course, there are also a lot of difficult problems, social problems, because of all the inequalities. How do we feel about it? Do you want to say something about that?
I don't know. Yes, there are a lot of inequalities, but it doesn't mean that you cannot connect in a way. So, especially with the technology getting cheaper and more accessible and more, accessible. You can connect, and you have to always realize that there is another perspective out there. That there are people who are, in a total different environment. Yeah. and it gets you there faster
Mhm.
if you travel, if you meet them, if you are in a society.
So
But
again, it's
yeah,
end
there is
to end.
also, I mean, traveling is ultimately very bad for us.
Mhm.
So that is something that we have to deal with, I think.
Yeah. But okay, so to round it up, connect is important.
Yeah.
To take out all the connections is also important. To think of your position and to make real specific choices. Collaboration. Can you sort of
And initiatives.
Yeah.
And also, so if you connect it to initiatives, then designers also do give form to something. So I don't think we should walk away from that, having the idea of societal change as a sort of goal.
Mhm.
Then still, I think we should embrace the fact that we have a certain extra sense for form,
Yeah.
and that brings a poster all of a sudden
Yeah.
into the streets or whatever.
I think that's
So-
a good conclusion because we are able to visualize things, whether it's big or small, and address it by our communication, visual
I think
communication. Yeah. Okay. Xenia.
Hello. I'm very sorry to interrupt, but unfortunately we are almost out of time. But I wanted to just give a couple of words to conclude this conversation. First of all, thank you so much. It was a great pleasure to listen to you, and we are really happy, especially here at Graphic Days, to know that there are so many people that pay a lot of attention to social design, and I think this discussion in particular has taught us a lot, and it was really exciting to know more about the projects that you are working on. And it's also simply great to have such amazing Dutch designers sitting in one room all together and talking about design, which is in this amazing building made by designers. So it's like the work of design, the complete work of design. I have a curiosity rather than a question to Nikki and Thomas. We were wondering if you ever had any problems with graffiti with your building.
Oops.
Not yet. But ask Yuri.
Yeah,
Yuri brought his spray can.
I will sign it soon. Yeah. That's collaboration.
Yeah, that's collaboration. It's his activist role. Yeah.
Could be quite a nice collaboration. Then maybe a piece of it could go as a third piece at the museum, so it like became a trilogy. You know?
Yeah.
That's really.
I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Thomas just had a heart attack.
If it has to happen, it has to happen. Yeah, it's in the streets, so if people react to it that way, then so far it has met with respect and not yet with graffiti. So, but you never know. Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's it. So I'm first thank you once again for joining, for taking your time, for bringing these very important topics, and for everyone who is watching us. We invite you to follow Graphic Days Eyes on the Netherlands online and offline. We are open until May 30th, so it's the last weekend to visit our exhibitions and see everything with your own eyes. And so for everyone else, we want to remind you that there are a couple of online events left this week. So, for example, Pepijn will join us on Friday for a dedicated online event on what design can do together with Rosa Kieft. And they will talk about the what design can do most recent challenge, No Waste Challenge, as well as present some of the best project proposals that they have received so far, as well as tomorrow we will have Edwin Jacobs from RNDR Studio, where he will talk more about the project that is now on show in Turin as a part of the Palette of Typographic Masonry exhibition. So lots of things to see, and obviously all the events will remain online, registered online, so take your time and watch the other events anytime you want to. So again, thank you all so much, and see you at Graphic Days Eyes in the Netherlands, and thank all our guests today again.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye, everybody.